So Afro Elite, myself, and Black Alpha Network decided to hold a Twitter space called FBA Reparations Over Everything. And not once, but twice, Twitter or whoever didn't like what we were saying decided to cut us off. We got spiked twice. Even the second room folks had more than 100 people in there. We were having a great conversation. They don't want them kind of conversations online. So I decided to just put up both parts, and y'all can tell us in the comment thread if we said anything crazy. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy.
Alright, we're recording now.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to give everybody about 1 or 2 more minutes and let everybody file in, and we're going to touch bases.
And by the way, I stand with Sister Tachina Arnold. She ain't deserve that bullshit she called.
Brother Afro, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can.
Man, we got some heavy hitters in here tonight. Oh, they ain't ready. Hey, they about to catch this work. We got some heavy hitters in here.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, shit, since we in here now and everybody's going good, we're going to go ahead and jump this thing off. Appreciate everybody for showing up. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to have a foundational Black American reparations conversation with no tethers involved, no immigrants, no none of that, no African Americans, any of that. So I'm going to go ahead and let about 1 or 2 more people to hit me up, file in, and then we're going to jump this thing off the right way. All right, no time wasted. Okay, family, peace, love, and reparations, y'all. Reparations, love, and peace. I'm Black Alpha 6 from the Black Alpha Network. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube. I appreciate that. We got a good one tonight. Straight up, all the way around, thorough. Thanks for everybody for pulling up. Hey, make sure you share this space like right now so we can run all the trolls and get everybody up out of here so we can have some real B1 energy right here, because that's how it's supposed to be. But tonight we're going to talk about reparations. Foundational Black American reparations, not tether reparations, not immigrant reparations, not POC, not minority, not African American, none of that. Foundational Black Americans, because nobody can speak on us better than us. And we got a panel full of thorough brothers and sisters, and we're going to have some real grassroots B1 candidates come through, and we can discuss how we can gain some Black political power, Black economic power, and we can do it all the right way. Like Jason Black said, 20 years ago, reparations, that wasn't even something that people talked about. 10 years ago, reparations was something people laughed at, and I'm going to add to that. I'm going to say reparations right now, we're on America's front doorstep. And we're going to do like we all do anytime foundational Black Americans are on code. And we.
Yeah, can you, are you, everything okay? Couldn't hear anything.
Black Alpha, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know where that's coming from.
They spiking us already.
But they ain't going to stop nothing. Let's keep it rolling.
Yes, sir. All right, I guess Afro Elite, y'all can lead it on.
I can say, and this is being recorded, and I'm going to be honest about this. When I first got hip to the new Black media, and I first got hip to the conversation of reparations, I was fighting for it just as, like I know I should, but I didn't think I would live to see reparations. I was hoping my kids would live to see, well, I don't have kids now, but I was hoping the next generation will. But I'm very impressed with the progress that we've made. We've made way more progress than I thought could be made. We're literally shaking political candidates. You had Bernie Sanders running away from Black people when they were confronting him about reparations. Reparations is not a fringe thing anymore. Reparations is the talk, is the only talk, it's the only subject that matters. You have a whole damn war going on in Europe right now, and you still got people running away talking about reparations. So reparations, we're making so much progress with that, and that's why we got to keep steady on it. Which means we got to stay on these tethers next when it comes to them trying to get in the mix. These tethers, these naysayers, these coons, they're the only defense white supremacy has, because they look at them and they say, well, it's a Black person who said they don't want reparations, so that means that reparations isn't really that great if a Black person said it. But they're seeing now that Black people are going through a vetting process that they were not prepared for. Our vetting process is getting so legit that they had to hide the fact that Ketanji Brown Jackson isn't a foundational Black American. They never had to hide facts like that before with anybody. But now they're having to hide that because they know our vetting process is so thorough now. They know that we're checking, and this isn't to say that every non-foundational Black American is a coon, but this is to say our vetting process is very thorough. So, hold on, let me fix this text real quick. So,
hey, I'm back in the building now, y'all.
You got chased by a gator or something, bro?
No, I think we done made history. I think we the first Twitter space that got hacked. That's what I'm thinking. I ain't never seen nothing like that. But hey, it don't matter. B1 Energy, certified Black society, they can't stop it. No way.
Are the two guests still coming up, or?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on them to pull up, man. They had a couple of
You
engagements.
want me to accept requests?
What you say, brother?
You want me to? When do you want to accept requests to speak?
Matter of fact, we're gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in old buddy right here. But as I was saying before, they try to hack my shit. FBA, we at the front door, and we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna kick the damn door in, and they gonna cut that check. FBA all day. We can bring in people right now, and I like how you said it, Afro. I never thought reparations would even be on this forefront, but it is on the forefront. And however the story gets told, either we're going to tell the story that, you know, we failed and the tethers ruined it, or we got the tellers out the way, we cleaned house, and we made it happen. And I lean towards making it happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we've gotten we've gotten educated so quickly, so much more quickly collectively, and so on code collectively. And it's not just, and the beauty of this is not just is one factor. It's all factors. It's all sections and groups of Black society. Black B1 society, the beauty of B1 society is not the fact that it's just young Black men. It's not the fact that it's just young Black women, but it's young Black women, it's old Black women, it's young Black men, it's old Black men. Not that many old Black people, but it is some Black people. It's not even all foundational Black Americans. You have Black foreigners who are B1. So it's all of these factions. It's the thing that makes the team. All of these subgroups and factors that are putting their heads together, even LGBT Black people, all of them. The ones who are on code, the ones who are B1, that's the thing that makes the power, because we as a team, we can hit things through different angles that we couldn't hit individually. It works together. It's like clockwork. You have different gears, different sizes that turn in different directions that make the clock tick on time. As a team, everybody has their position to play. Some people are in the new Black media. Some people are the thought leaders of new Black media. Some people are just like foot soldiers. Some people are the nurses, the teachers. Everybody has a position to play, and we're all intrinsically falling in line in our positions in lockstep, like an army, like a B1 army, and we're battling them. We're battling the white supremacists, and they can't take this. That's why they have to shadow ban our talking points. That's why they have to shut the spaces down, shut the YouTube channels down. That's why they have to do these desperate tactics, because they can't handle us together. They can't handle the team.
Hey, that's a real good point, brother. I was saying just the other day, I feel reparations should be the #1 priority for every living foundational Black American. Anybody who says they're B1 and they walk with us in this struggle. I can't fathom somebody saying they're foundational Black American or B1 and not representing reparations. I don't know if everyone understands how massive that is, and that's a real landmark achievement. Not a Supreme Court justice or a fake vice president or a president. That's a real landmark thing, and I think we can accomplish all of that by standing together. And you made very solid points on that, brother. Everybody's got a role to play, and if we all play that role, we can achieve it. We can achieve it quicker than a lot of people believe. So just standing together, each one teach one, and we make the team stronger. But I want to bring in some people right now. Mortal, I see you got your hand up. You go ahead, brother. Talk.
Yeah, greetings. Greetings to the host, co-host. Greetings to all the brothers and sisters out there. And really appreciate you giving me a chance to speak. FBA reparations over everything. And what we've been seeing is a lot of attempts to label a lot of revamped social programs as reparations. And I want to remind us that reparations is self-determination. We shouldn't be trying to get them to govern us differently. We should be trying to govern ourselves to the extent that the laws of this land allow. And the laws of this land allow a great amount of latitude if we're willing to use it. Self-determination, money, land. This is what we need. We have to tell them exactly what reparation is. It has to come from us, because if it doesn't come from us, it's going to be a coupon for half off or a Happy Meal. For real. They'll say, hey, we'll get with McDonald's. We know you like that. They like this. They'll say it. If we go for it, they'll say, hey, it's a Happy Meal. You know you like that McDonald's. You know you be loving it. So what you do, you take this coupon down there, say reparations on the coupon, you pay half and we're going to pay half, and that's your reparations. And I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? They'll do us just like that. So we have to determine what it is. If that means one of you or even I have to write a bill and present it to the family here, the FBA family, and say, what about this? It has to come from us. So that's what I wanted to really, really stress. I don't even know how to stress that hard enough, but thank you all so much for letting me speak. I'm going to drop down and listen.
Yes, sir. And also, if you're able to, folks, and because we know debate season is starting to ramp up very soon, go to these debates and really see if you can get on that mic and ask these politicians about reparations. Clips like that will go viral, and it'll help further the conversation. So that's one way that us, as regular citizens, can make sure the message gets out. But let's keep it rolling. Bless you up.
Yo, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm kind of nervous right now, but I've been trying to get on one of these spaces just to give props to the Foundation of Black Americans everywhere. I'm a 52-year-old Foundation of Black Americans from Augusta, Georgia, and I've been listening to the new black media over 10 years on YouTube. And when I first heard Jason Black for the first time, it just blew my mind that it was somebody else that was thinking the same thing that I was thinking. But I was feeling so isolated because, 10 years ago, man, this thing was in infancy. And I just love how it was grown. And, the one thing that bothers me is I look around on the internet, on YouTube, talking to people. It's so many people that got a defeated attitude about reparations. They always coming up with reasons. Man, they'll never do that. They'll never do that. It's all these white people against it. I'll be like, man, damn that. They gotta do it. They gotta do it because it's justice and it's what's right. And we just gotta lock in on it, And we got people out there, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. All right. This the Foundation of Black American. Dane Calloway is the main one leading this defeatism. Every time you look around, he got another video about why we can't get it. All these semantical reasons. It's like he don't want it to happen unless it brings him glory. And he got a lot of people that's following that. You know what I mean? They just go ahead. They need to go ahead and drop the ego, get on code, and let's get it done. That's all I got.
Thank you for that.
All right.
Yeah, but we know people like Dane Calloway. They're operating on a pessimistic mind state, like you said. Like they want it to happen, so when it does happen, they could say that they were on the forefront of it. But if it doesn't happen, they feel as though they're not going to lose that much credibility. So they're kind of fence straddling right now. And
right.
FBAs and the B1s, we got to start kicking that people off that fence. You got to pick a side at this point.
That's right. That's what I want to get out there. And I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's see. Robert, you are up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this real short, but I'm just piggybacking off Alpha Elite, the best. Man, we gotta go for the juggler thing. As foundational Black Americans, we can't let up. We gotta keep our feet on the gas at all costs. And these bones and biscuits, and what I mean by that, these so-called black folk that got these positions, those are definitely the ones we going for them first, because you see, group power is everything. That's what this country run off of, group power. And that's how they move to control us. So what we do, no, we're reversing that back. We're bringing that power back to us. Foundational Black Americans have the power. And this is why I've been screaming, with my people, like, look here, man, we not voting. No, we not voting. What you bringing to the table? What are we getting for that vote? Our vote is a quid pro quo. This is what our vote is. So if we're not getting nothing for our vote, then there's no vote. These things are very important. So if 40 million FBAs sit out, what they gonna do? They can't do anything. They can't do nothing. Why? Because we have the power. We control this over here. So if you're not talking about cutting that check, then you're not talking about anything. Our lives is on the line. Our lives is on the line every day. We step outside of our door into this environment of this supremacist world. So what we have to do, we always, with a capital A, we always have to stay on code with each other. Always, because you know what? They stay on code. They don't never get off code. No matter how wrong they are, they stay on code. And this is what we have to do as foundational Black Americans, because all the trick bags gonna come out. All the trick bags gonna come out. They finna send out all their bones and biscuits out in the field, to come and try to entrap us again with the same playbook. They have not changed the playbook. The playbook is the same. So I could say a lot more, but I just wanted to add just a little bit because, man, this thing is serious. This is not a game. This is not a joke. And that's why these tethers must go. They must be cast out. It has no place in the FBA society. No place. So, man, with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic because this is serious. This is very serious, and we're not going. We're not going this year, next year, or the year after that. It's coming. Oh, yeah, it's coming because there's more of us coming on board with this code now. And a lot of us are understanding what it really is. Because, once again, the same playbook is being played over and over and over and over again. All they do, what they want to do, they want to put the black face right in front of you. But no, we calling them out. So with that being said, no more talk for me.
Hey, let me jump in real quick. I got to piggyback off that. You made a good point, a real good point, brother. A lot of black folks don't understand how the reparations claim is tied to our everyday living, our everyday lifestyle. It's more than just cutting a check. This has something to do with the race soldiers we deal with. This has something to do with the white supremacy we encounter on a day-to-day basis at the job, in the streets, everywhere. The reparations claim is tied to every aspect of foundational black American life. So one comes the other. They both one hand washes the other. So we got to represent the reparations claim the same way we represent black power. Them shits got to go hand in hand, side by side. They're intertwined, and you can't separate the two of them. So I respect that point you made, brother, and I tell everybody else, stay on code, because on code is reparations, and reparations is on code, and you can't have one without getting the other.
Yeah, and I also want to put out one more idea for you guys. Y'all gotta watch them black conservatives. I know you guys really don't pay attention to them, but I guarantee in the next 60 to 90 days they're gonna start talking about reparations as well, and they're gonna try to bring that conversation over to their side, so white people can devalue the conversation, and then they can go back and circulate it right back to us, and then everybody else is going to say, you know what, maybe that claim isn't as valid as they think it is. The black conservatives will do their damnedest to make sure that white supremacy does not pay off. So I think for us in the new black media and those that follow us, got to make sure that once we start hearing these black conservatives talk about reparations, you shut down the conversation quick if they're not talking right.
It's a big.
You guys have made way too much progress for one of quote unquote our own that look like us to screw everything up.
To piggyback on what Kid Gravity just said, I've been saying this for like the last month or so. We have to be, and we are starting to, but we have to get way tighter when it comes to our vetting, because too often I see a black face pop up and the black face says something good in the very beginning, and next thing you know, just because of one or two videos that the black person says, the black person just came out of nowhere, makes one or two videos where they seem like they're on code, and they get put on a pedestal, and this new person gets put on the pedestal, and then next thing you know, here comes the pivot, here comes the shifts. You know, we can talk about that with what was that basketball dude's name?
Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown. He came out with a couple good videos in the beginning. Then everybody started putting him on the pedestal, and then look at the way he pivoted. You know what I'm saying? People made that with what's it, Grandmaster Jay, right? That dude. He got put on the pedestal, and then bam, you saw it. I mean, a lot of people saw it from the beginning, but you saw him pivot. So to piggyback off of what you're saying with these conservatives, they'll come in with the Democrats been betraying us. We've been voting for them for no reason. The same talking points that we will give, and then we'll be all like, oh, okay, well, that's another voice. That's another person who's on our side. And then we'll put him on a pedestal or her on a pedestal, and then bam, here comes the pivot. And then since we made that person the representative of reparations, which is what the dominant society will do, make a single person the representative of reparations, and then they will discredit that person, thus discrediting reparations. So it's important for us not to fall for that trick.
Yes, sir. I mean, even with what was that? I was saying 2 years ago during the election cycle, hey, I know they're coons and they're agents and boule and all that, but since they're talking for us, use those black conservatives to get us a little further, and then once the election's over, then we could go back and call them coons and all that. You know, they should have been our useful idiots, but you know, we missed the boat on that. So now they're gonna try to ingratiate themselves right back over here,
And like I said, unless they talking right and their paperwork is straight, we got to run them off the block. Go put them where Roland's at.
I like that point right there, Afro and Kid. Y'all both make good points. Sometimes you got to rob Peter to pay Paul, and we out here playing chess, not checkers. So sometimes you got to use the dominant society against each other. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you got to vet everybody. And I call a lot of these people out here the terminology thieves. And you know, they sit here and they watch all of our moves. They take all of our talking points and our narratives, and then they try to spew that to gain some type of emotion from us. Now you're seeing publications that are from the white society, and they're using B1 words, B1 terminologies. They sit there and watch, and there's probably some, you know, terminology thieves and some sleeper agents in this space right now and in other spaces, and they're always having an eye on us so they can mimic and regurgitate our talking points so they can gain some type of decoy status. So we got to always watch out for them. And the Republicans do it, the conservatives do it, the independents do it, everybody. The tethers do it, immigrants do it. Everybody's out here trying to steal our words so they can hit us with misdirection, misrepresentation, and they can turn us in the opposite way.
All right, let's keep it rolling. And Brother Will Leffridge, you are up.
Hey, good evening, fellas. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Can y'all hear me pretty clear?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Can you try to speak up a little?
Say that again.
Can you try to like speak up?
Are you on like a Bluetooth or something?
I am.
Yeah, that's why. I know you're probably driving, but we'll make the best of it.
I was just asking if you could raise your voice a little bit.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Much better.
Okay. So I think this is an interesting conversation tonight because I'm actually a conservative. And I'll say this, like, I think when we start talking about reparations, I think a good talking point on that is what are we looking for? Like, what is the primary goal? Now, I'm not a supporter of the idea that Black people are the victim or that we need to be given X amount of money because it's not fair for us or anything like that. I don't support that type of ideology, mainly because at the end of the day, America in 2022 is the best opportunity for anyone to become whatever they want to be. Whatever they want to be. If you want to be a scientist, if you want to be a politician.
Okay, so quick before you finish. So quick question. So what are you doing here? Because this is what we support.
You said, what am I doing right now?
No, what are you doing here? Because this is what we support over here.
Oh, I mean, I'm here as a person commenting on what you're talking about.
Yeah, Rich, let him finish. I want to hear all of this before we ask questions.
This is what happens in our community, though. Like, a lot of the times when you have a person with opposing views, instead of us creating a space where everyone can talk along, we're quick to either try to attack the person verbally or we'll try to silence whatever they're talking about. Where I feel good.
I didn't attack you.
But your question was, what am I doing here? I don't support a specific type of ideology. Now, me and you have talked several times, having different views about several things. Sometimes we don't agree, sometimes we do agree. But at the end of the day, it's always good to have a person that sees stuff a little bit different than you. You know what I'm saying?
So, Will, let me ask this. So, how do you want the reparations to look?
Right, that comes back to what I first said. If we're talking about reparations, I guess what I need to know from you all before I can answer this question is when we're speaking on reparations, what do you all, or what is our focal point in this?
Well, I think the focal point, I'm speaking for B1 Society, I think the focal point is not only the money in the land, but also the government to realize that they have to, in a statement, however they want to put it out, that they acknowledge that they were complicit in what's been going on with Black society the last 403 years that Black people have been over here, because we already know they don't want to admit this because that would give the reparations claim all the rocket boost they need to go in front of these federal judges and say, this is what we want. You heard them say that it was their fault. Give us what we want, or there's going to be hell to pay. So they're trying to skirt away from that. And I think once that happens, like I said, you pay off Black society with the reparations, I guarantee you they'll take that money and they'll go do what they need to do. You'll never have to hear about this ever again. But the government wants to pivot on this because they would have to be complicit in admitting that their government at the early stages made sure to make Black people permanent underclass. And they can't have that because that's where they get most of their money from anyway. And they know that once that happens, that's a competing economy they cannot have on their shore, because we would overnight become the second biggest economy in this country and the fourth largest in the world. They can't have that.
Right. So then dealing with what you just said right now, that brings a whole nother conversation to the table about financial literacy. Now, again, the reason why I don't support reparations...
Sir, he asked you about what you consider reparations to be. So can you answer that and then go on with your other point?
Well, you have to realize I I'm not a person who really ever asked for reparations. But now, if
Do
I
you
was gonna
qualify
say,
for reparations? Are you a foundational Black American on both sides of your family? Do you even qualify for that before you speak on it, sir?
well, I think it comes back to
It's a yes or no. Yes or no.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
you
who's
got
speaking right
you
now?
got to answer that. Man, you got to answer that question. You kind of taking up a lot of time here.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Too many times in spaces, we get one person who happens to be the outlier, and then next thing you know, it's them debating with the host for like 30 minutes of the conversation. We had 5 hands up, and I don't want to neglect these brothers' times. We have more people trying to request to speak. So let's answer the question. Let's answer the question because we want to be fair to everybody's time, and everybody has something they want to say. Are both of your sides of the family, your mother and father, can they trace their lineage back to North American chattel slavery? That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Okay, so they were both of their ancestors. They can both trace it back to North American chattel slavery.
Yes.
Okay.
All right then.
Well, before anyone speaks, this is why I asked this question. What is he doing here? I'm not being an asshole. It's a legitimate question because I'm not in conservative spaces because I don't care what they say. I'm not interested in what they're saying. So that's the reason why I asked the question. It's not really to be an asshole or anything. It's a real legitimate question. I'm in spaces that I'm interested in, and the things that the ideologies I believe in. That's where I'm at. If I don't agree with you, I might jump in your space to see what you're talking about, and then I'm out. But the question I asked, why are you here, is because everybody in here supports reparations and you don't. So it kind of confuses me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I asked the question.
Well, that's a simple one. So again, before everyone started jumping in and trying to have like a debate with me, I said I was getting ready to say, if we're talking about tracing reparations, and we trace this all the way down to the 40 acres and the mule, right? That's typically what comes up whenever we talk about reparations. You know what I'm saying? So if we trace that back down to that, and whatever families were owed that did not receive that, then hey, they should get what their rightful duty is or what they deserve to get. However, there are a lot of people that do not qualify for that. So then we have to come to another table. And to answer the question,
okay, wait, hold on. You're kind of confusing. You're kind of confusing things. We're not speaking about who 40 acres anymore. We're just speaking about you being here. You're conservative. You don't agree with what we're saying, but you're here.
Right. But now, because first of all, this is a space that was created for all people. So if anyone wants to tune in, they can tune in. If they want to talk about it, they can talk about it. At the end of the day,
wait, hold up.
That's not what we're gonna do, folks. I get y'all have disagreement. I got 6 people wanting to talk.
Okay.
Y'all should hash that out in DM. Let's come to understand back here.
Kid Grabber, let's do this. Let's allow Will 30 seconds to land because he hasn't landed yet, and then let's get to the hands. And then we can back around to Will if you're still in the room. Because we got people requesting. I can't even accept all these people because there's already speakers on the thing. So we got to move this conversation along. So you got 30 seconds, Will, to land. If you don't choose to, then we will go to, I think Nino had his hand up, or Dylan, I don't know. But either one of them two. But you got 30 seconds, Will.
Okay. So in the black community, what I would like to see happen, one, is financial literacy. A lot of times in the black community, a lot of people do not know what to do with credit, what to do with money.
Okay, well, wait. What does that have to do with the what?
Rich, let me finish. Please.
Bro, no. But you can't. We're having a conversation.
I understand that, but you're not letting them finish the point first, and then you can come back on it.
Yeah, but you're saying to run the conversation through. There's no reason to run the conversation through. We're having a great conversation here, and he should be able to talk, and then I talk with him. There's no confusion here.
Well, like I said, I'm never afraid to have any conversation, but I'm finished making my point, and then Rich, if you got a question for me, I don't mind answering your question. But it would be good for the black community to get this financial literacy, because what we don't want to happen is to get the money, to get the land, and then lose everything within maybe a 10-year time period. So we need the financial literacy to come in. We need to be able to support.
Okay, but that's me. Right now, what you're saying is basically what you're saying in short is black people are not smart enough to receive reparations and do. But that's basically what you're saying.
No, I did not. I said there has to be financial literacy.
For what? I don't need financial. Wait.
If you look at it right now,
wait. I don't need financial literacy. If you owe me money, wait. Hold up. If you owe me money, what I do with my money has nothing to do with you.
Right. At the same time, it comes right back to what I said. Just because you're black or you can trace this, you have to be able to trace all the money, follow the money from the time it started all the way until now. Now, if we can prove that this person was cheated, this person was cheated, this person cheated, this person was not cheated, that's fine. Because if you're owed something, you're owed it. That's the first point.
Is he still there? Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're here in the building. I'm bringing back everybody that was already talking. I'm trying to, well, you know, almost everybody.
Yeah. Okay, let's get a reset going. Let's get a reset. Miss Tamara is in the building. I'm going to invite her to speak because I want her to kick it off. I need her to kick it off. Because I think once she kicks it off, we'll have a clear direction on how we want this conversation to go. So I sent her a request. Let's see. All right. We're sorry about that. We let one of the tether cousins come in and they didn't like what we were saying in the beginning and they were just timing it when they were going to cut us off. We apologize about that. All right. Miss Tamara is up on the stage. Okay. So we're going to let her kick this off. So Miss Tamara, please, and welcome to the space.
Hey, good evening, family. I don't know what happened. I obviously y'all had another room and something happened, but I was just waking up. I had to lay down. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. This campaign, y'all, is in full gear. Full gear. I'm actually,
ma'am, as soon as 12 o'clock hit, we will put something on your books. Make sure you get enough water and stay hydrated.
Thank you, family. I
Yes,
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm fighting, y'all. We fighting, and it's sad that we have to fight the Democratic Party to the extent that we do. And Marcel and I, he's got his battle over in South Carolina, and I damn sure got my battle here. They are literally supporting Warnock, you know, and outwardly, not only the state party, but county parties. We're not being invited to events. It's just amazing what they're doing to protect him and protect this seat. And the pushback from our people. Like I so expect white people to push back. I get it. I expect it. But damn, when you fighting your own people, and literally we're fighting our own people right now. I was talking to someone in South Georgia and they were telling me how, and I've heard this, how they're saying that I need to broaden my agenda. You know, I'm a one issue candidate. All I talk about is reparations. Hell, I don't even. What else should we talk about? That was my answer to him. Like, you know, what else? What other policy will fundamentally change the state and fate of Black America? What? Give me one. Name it. And nobody can do it. So that the pushback from Black people is, I need to broaden my agenda. I need to do more. I'm not doing enough. And that's because so many of them don't understand what reparations is, and that's our work, you know. And I'm so glad that y'all are like continuing to have these spaces, and even when they, you know, whatever happens, you come back and you come back and you come back, because it's going to take us continuing to be heard and be very vocal for the momentum to continue. Our people are so lost. And I'll yield the mic again. I laid down just for a second just because I knew I had to shake that off. I was like, I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I ain't running on all cylinders. So I'm up, and I'll stick around for a while. So thank y'all for the invite to the stage.
Yes, ma'am. Get your rest. We need all of our generals out on the front line, healthy, ready to go.
Thank you.
Can I piggyback off of something? We're not like other spaces, and this is one of the reasons why I respect Black Alpha spaces, and spaces like his, because we're very organized. We don't do a lot of the one-on-one arguing and there's 5 people who have their hands up. We're more organized and structured than that. Okay, there's going to be naysayers, there's going to be tethers that's going to come in and try to throw us off, but we're not going to let them do that. Unfortunately, most of the people who are arguing against reparations are people who don't qualify for reparations. A solid majority of the people who are arguing against reparations, because there's really no logical argument. You can't say, as the brother, and he's here, so if he wants to come up and speak, then he can, but you can't say with America giving billions of dollars to foreign refugees
who have much poorer social economics and much lower education rate. Their GPA is much lower. The whatever that is, forget it. That's lower than ours. We're more educated as a country and as a people, but they get billions of dollars in reparations. America has given out trillions of dollars in reparations to other groups of people. And not one person has ever said, I don't understand how the Jewish people get reparations. Are they financially literate enough? Are the Ukrainians financially literate enough? Are the Afghanistans financially literate enough? Are the Mexicans financially literate enough? It's only black people wouldn't know. Black people are really just too stupid for money. That's the only time you ever hear anything about financial literacy, because there's a whole lot of people from other groups of other races who are not financially literate, but they get to use the money, and they use the money and they benefit off the money. And that's never a problem. It's only ever a problem when it comes to black people getting the money. So that leads me to believe that you don't want us to have the money because you wouldn't get a check, because you can't trace your lineage back.
Yes, sir. And piggyback also what else you said. Look at the Chinese immigrants when they come over here. A lot of them aren't financially literate, but they have geese who control their money, start them off for the business. They happen to sit there and teach them about business, and then they take that knowledge, build up their business, and teach the next. So this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to take that lesson. Those who are financially literate, make sure once the money comes in, those who are not, you put them under your tree. I'm not talking about no scams either. I'm talking about legit business, because we know once y'all get y'all money, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to be scrutinizing every dollar bill that goes out. They're going to want an accounting of everything. So make sure you have your soldiers ready that are not that strong. Turn them into strong soldiers. Make sure the financially literate are propped up, and people are like, listen, go to him, go to her, go to them. They know what to do. And y'all got to play the game like that.
Family, can you do me a favor before we get to the hands? Can you all share this space so we can kind of get the numbers and the people back? So just like share this space on your timeline, or send this space to somebody, because we want as many people in here as possible.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get it rolling. So before one of the tethers cut us off, Dallas, you're gonna go, and then I'm going to let Will come up. So Dallas, go ahead.
Hey, how y'all doing, everybody? Yeah, man, I love this space, this conversation about the reparations, cause I was actually watching a scene from a movie the other day, and they was talking about how we don't need reparations and such, and we need to do this before we get it, and we need to do that before we get it, and all that. No. We've been deserved reparations for the longest time, and I don't give a damn what anybody says. I don't care what some of these coon niggas have to say, excuse my language. I don't care what the non-foundational black Americans gotta say. I don't care what all these other races of people gotta say. I don't care. We been deserved it, and we're gonna get it one way or another. I don't care. We're gonna get our reparations. And to the Republicans or whatever the hell, yeah, we need to watch out for them, because watch when we do start to get the ball rolling and whatnot, they're gonna be like, oh well, look, yeah, we're gonna get them reparations, y'all. We're gonna get them reparations. We need to get them reparations. And then once we get them, they're gonna start talking bad about black people like they was doing before. So yeah, we gotta watch them, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Thank you, brother.
If it's okay with the host, may I speak before Will, because I was actually next up in line when he went on his tangent in the previous room. So I just want to go ahead and get my thoughts out before he resumes.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So a couple things I've noticed, and again, I apologize for speaking out loud. It's just I've been waiting to speak since the last room. Now I want to co-sign what Kid Gravity pointed out about watching these black conservatives. He absolutely hit the nail on the head with that. There's this thing going on right now where these conservative groups are realizing that the black voter demographic is straying away from the Democrats, and they're like vultures. They're seeing this as their opportunity to swoop in and try to garner support for the Republicans. But all of us who are black first understands that the Republicans and the Democrats are both two sides of the same coin. Do they have eternal fighting going on amongst each other? Of course. When do white people not fight with each other when we're not around? But like any other white group, they get on code with one another when it comes down to people classified as black and black issues. And that's exactly what I'm observing going on with these black conservatives. These black conservatives come in by the way they operate is they start talking trash about the Democrats, and they start saying things that are factual. Like, they start calling the Democrats on, on all this, the LGBT agenda. They start calling the Democrats out on their support of illegal immigration. They say all the right things when it comes out to criticisms of the Democrats or the liberals. But then when you start listening to what they're saying, especially when it comes out to the conversation of reparations, that's when the pivot happens. And I've noticed that with a lot of these so-called black conservatives. They're being sent out here to try to garner support for their party by their white paymasters. And now to keep the topic on reparations really quickly, I would like to point out that reparations is the #1 black issue to Sister Tamara. I just want to say, first of all, I've been looking at you. I've been looking at your platform. I support you fully. I am a resident of Georgia myself, so I will be looking to support you come midterm election. Also, but one thing that we need to stress to black voters or the black people in general is there's no other issue that needs to take precedent over reparations. None. Because every issue that affects black people or people classified as black all boil down to white supremacy. And white supremacy's effect on us with our lack of funds. Like a wise man once said, they hate us because we're black. They hurt us because we're poor. Yeah, they can hate us all they want, but they don't. If we have the financial backing, they can hate us all they want, but they can't hurt us. The reason why they're able to hurt us is because we're poor. And then to address what Will Lethbridge, Mr. Will, what he said was about us not being financially literate. I don't recall Japanese Americans having to go through financial literacy classes before getting their reparations. I don't recall the people classified as Native Americans, who we know many of them are not of Native lineage. I don't remember them having to go through financial literacy classes before getting their reparations. More recently, with the LGBT community, with their reparations that Biden just signed off on. I don't recall anybody giving them financial literacy classes before he signed off on that. I didn't hear nobody saying, the LGBT community is going to spend all their money on Patagonia blue vests. I didn't hear nobody say anything like that. But why is it when it comes to black people, all of a sudden, hey, we need to invest in financial literacy and blah, 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 blah? No. I want the same treatment everybody else got. Y'all didn't have studies. Y'all to pass their the money that you felt was owed to them. You didn't ask the American public what their opinion was before you signed off on it. They didn't require financial literacy classes. I said it like this: cut us that check, and those that squander off their money, let them, because that's money owed to them. If somebody owes you money, I don't care if I'm setting that money on fire. That's not your responsibility to dictate what I do with my money that you owe me. So let's make that very clear. And then I find it so disrespectful when people start trying to put all these extra requirements on black people to get what is owed to us. And in fact, I blame us for even entertaining. Because the first thing we need to do is tell them to shut the fuck up. We shouldn't be entertaining that shit. You didn't ask so-and-so and so-and-so to do that, so don't ask me to do it. And we put in the most of work than anybody else on this land. And then one thing I want to say before I park my car in the garage is, Mr. Will, I've been looking up your social media, bro. I don't believe that you are a descendant of American slavery on both sides of your family, going back to the plantations of the American South, what is now the United States. I don't believe you, sir. But even if that is true, dog, for you to sit here and be talking all them white wing supremacists talking points, man. You over here tap dancing, dog. If nobody else said it, I'll say it, man. I ain't saying you a coon because I don't know you, but you sure acting like that with them talking points, brother. And I'll park the car in the garage right there.
Hey, that was a good one right there. Hey, that was a real good one. Before we go on to the next speaker, I want to bring in Brother Nas, because I always enjoy his tweets, and I know he's very intelligent, and he's very hard on some of these tethers and these immigrants who try to get in on it. So, Brother Nas, go ahead and speak, brother. I've been waiting to hear you for a long time. Brother Nas, go ahead.
guess waiting for Nas. Will, would you like to respond to that really fast?
Yeah, of course. First, let me start off by saying this. So to kick off what Kid Gravity was saying, when you said that the ones that are financially stable enough to come back down and teach everyone else, that's a part of financial literacy. Nowhere in this conversation did I ever say that black people are not literate enough to handle any type of money that comes into our hands. I've never said that, nor would I ever would say that. However, if you look at the Asians, if you look at the Jewish people, if you look at any other race, look at the LGBTQ community, right? The black community was the only community that I know of that history shows that was set up to hate each other, that was set up to destroy each other. And until we deal with that, reparations it's not going to help us out, period. We have to start supporting each other. Even if a person has an opposing view to you, you have to be able to sit there. And why? Because some of my points might help strengthen you, some of your points might help strengthen me. If this goes back to the Willie Lynch, that whole type of mentality, the Willie Lynch mentality, as Black Alpha Network, you guys do a great job. It's kind of like a slave mentality. When you have the house nigga, you got the field nigga, and you got the regular niggas. So I'm saying the niggas that go out there and actually work in the field.
Brother Will, let me ask you a question. What do you feel are the current race relations in the United States of America? Do you think they're good, bad, or decent?
I would say that they're decent.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard that. I didn't say that. That's what y'all heard.
Let me ask you.
Okay. What did he say?
Let me ask you, because in the space before, and then the space before was recorded. In the space before, you stated something as if white supremacy wasn't a big issue, wasn't a big factor. Let me ask you. Now, of course, we all admit, everybody in this room will know, yes, spending your money wisely is important. Is financial literacy a prerequisite for getting money that is owed to you? If I owe you money, should I not be able to pay you the money back because I don't feel that you would use it responsibly?
Well, brother, I said in the last space as well, if we trace the money back and you find the ones that is owed the money, then of course they should be paid.
Okay, but that's a yes or no question, because we've already traced the money back. That's already been done. We already know who the money is owed to. That's already been done. So, the money is owed to foundational Black Americans.
And who is a foundational Black American?
A foundational Black American is somebody who traces their family lineage back to North American chattel slavery. We are the foundation of America. That's why, hence the term foundational. And we are owed slavery reparations. That is a debt, that is a blood debt that is owed to us. So let me ask you again. Due to the fact that I understand everybody is not financially literate, no race of people, 100% of them, is financially literate. But is being financially literate a prerequisite to get money that is owed to you?
No, again.
So why are you bringing that up in rebuttal to our reparations claim?
Simply because I said this in the last space, I'll say it again. You all asked me what is my idea of reparations. I said, well, not every person is owed reparations. I said, but to ones that you can follow the money back to, if they're owed, they're owed. The ones that are not, they still have to become financially literate. It doesn't mean that because you're not owed this money that you should not succeed, or that you should not know that you can succeed. That's what I push for.
Okay, but you're changing the topic. You're changing the topic, because why are we talking about people who are not owed reparations? We're talking about people who are owed reparations.
Well, simply because the comment got dropped about the Black community and reparations as the Black community as a whole body.
So no. Maybe you misunderstood, because the title in the other space was FBA reparations. That's specifically what the title is. Not everybody reparations, and not Black reparations. It was FBA reparations.
That's how the conversation went in the last room.
No, you're the only one who assumed that, probably because you're not FBA.
If you yes I am. But if you trace this back, or if you listen to the recording from the last show, you'll see me making the same points I made right now. Whereas I'm still saying that in the Black community, there's a lot of things that we have to overcome, just period, with being Black. We have to learn how to support each other. We have to learn how to habitat with each other, so how to live around each other. We have to learn how to help the next person get up, because what happens often in the Black community is you'll have a person who makes it out, who makes it to the top, and he doesn't reach back for anybody behind him.
But don't you think, and you're making a great point, and we won't have to do that where one person makes it up and pulls everybody behind them if every foundational Black American had reparations. That ends your point right there.
Well, not necessarily.
Everybody gets reparations who's owed it.
What about the people who aren't owed a reparation?
Then they don't get it. I mean, what about
you got to understand, Will, I like where you're coming from, because you're asking questions that we've asked years behind, especially with people who's just started in this reparations angle. But if you're not FBA, or you're not a descendant of child slavery, this is what B1 and FBAs have been saying. You can't be part of this conversation because you're just going to bog it down. If you can literally trace where your family's from on both sides, you're part of the conversation. Go forward. If you're not and you still want to assist, cool. If you're not and you don't want to assist, don't hinder the process, because they're gonna highlight your voice. I'm not saying you personally, but I'm saying people like you, they're going to highlight that voice to stop the talk, and that you can't have, because then they're going to be the fake. They're going to basically try to transform those voices into, the ADOS people that are on the fence about it, or the FBAs that they feel like they can turn. Y'all can't have that, and that's where the problem is. And I understand what you're saying, but I think there's a disconnect there, and maybe you should probably research a little bit more on the positions of people that are pro-reparation, and maybe see where you're not understanding something, and that might give you a better clarification for the questions that you're asking.
Hey, let me chime in a little bit. Let me chime in real quick. Brother Will. I hear you keep saying the black community is the black community. Are there any other prerequisites that you have for other communities that receive reparations all the time? Do you have those same opposing views when the Ukrainians, the Afghans, when everyone else is receiving reparations by the trillion? Do you have those same blockades for them as you do for us?
That comes back to give you yes or no. No. And
okay, well, then why is the difference? Why is there blockades for foundational Black Americans, but there's an open door for everyone else? If you say you're foundational Black Americans, why the shade for your own group and why the love for others?
Okay, well, excuse me, I answered your question incorrectly, so excuse me for that.
Okay, then answer it correctly then. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, answer that question. You said, ask your question one more time, man. I'm jumbling around with everybody.
Why do you have prerequisites for other communities that you don't have, that you wouldn't necessarily put on with FBAs? Like you talked about financial literacy and all that, and we're saying they don't really go through that process, but you were saying in the other room, for us, we need to make sure we have financial literacy.
Yeah, how come every time when it comes to our reparations, you speak of a blockade or some type of hurdle that we have to overcome? When reparations, right now, we haven't even gotten our reparations, and you're blocking something that we haven't even got. There's plenty of people out there right now that have reparations. Why don't you have the same energy for them stopping theirs?
Well, it comes right back to what I was saying in the last room. And I'll say this. Hopefully, if you guys understand what I'm saying, I don't mind explaining it. Now, to say that I believe there should be a blockage in the black community for us getting reparations, I never said that. I said, when you all asked me what was my idea of reparations, or what would I like to see happen in the black community, I said financial literacy. Now, again, this comes right back to, if you look at the credit system here, the reason why I'm saying this, if you look at the credit system here in America, if you look at the housing system here in America, if you look at anything here in America, it's about your credit, it's about your assets, it's about your portfolio. If you don't know these things, then you're not going to be able to sit at the table. Now, you can buy the table as much as you want, but just like we're seeing with, who's that, Elon Musk trying to buy Twitter now, this whole world is about money. Who has the most money? Who can make this money talk? Who can make it move? Who can make
Wouldn't reparations help us get money though, brother? Wouldn't that help our financial situation?
Wait, Alpha, let me get this one. Well, they're not going to operate on a credit system when they give them reparations. It's going to be cash. You can't ask for credit because they can devalue credit easily. That's why they're not asking for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They'll devalue it.
Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on in the world now since we got all the stimulus money. Gas went up, and the cost of living went up everywhere.
That's because Biden wants to limit black money. Well, this whole pandemic thing was to stifle black money. That's all it was.
Right. And guess what? I'm not saying that's wrong. Only thing I'm doing is shedding light on the point that I was making. The point that I was making is once we get that money, and then the cost of living, everything, because we're gonna have to buy something. The cost of living goes up. They said if you can't buy a gas car anymore, you have to buy nothing.
Here's the thing, though, brother Will. You seem to think that black people are just going to take this money and just willy-nilly just spend it. There's a whole bunch of us that would take that money and invest it. There's a whole bunch of us that would take that money, put it in savings account, put it in stocks, put it in things that are going to generate money, businesses.
And that's the only thing that I'm sharing. Now, what you're saying right now, you're sharing the same point that I was making. The same point that I was making is that
correct. Once we get this money, we would change the system. This is why they're not giving you guys reparations, because we would change the system.
Brother Will, I got to chime in. Brother Will, it seems like you have a bigger issue than reparations for black people. It seems like you have a defeated mentality towards black people. Earlier you said the Willie Lynch syndrome and we all hate each other. Look around right now. This is full of FBA black folks and we love each other. We wouldn't be here if we didn't love each other. Black people have a very strong commonality. We got a very strong union. This is what's going to push it through. It seems like you get to the point where you already think that black folks don't love each other, we don't trust each other, and where's all that crab in the bucket? That's bullshit. That's a lie. In reality, we stand by each other, we stand strong together, and everyone in this room is a reflection of that. So you need to repair your thoughts about the FBA community, and then you understand that we can handle all the obstacles, all the hurdles. We've been doing it for 400 plus. We're very strong and we stand together and we build together. But brother, I gotta let you go because we got Marcel. Hey, I gotta let you go. I gotta stop you, brother. I got brother Marcel in here, and perhaps brother Marcel.
Can I give?
Yes, indeed. No. Hey, brother, he had more than 10. We gotta move it on, brother. Sorry about that, brother Marcel. You a guest of ours, brother. Absolute shining star in our political atmosphere, brother. I would love for you to enlighten brother Will. Brother Will, if you want to hear something, listen to this brother speak. You can learn a few things.
Thank y'all. Hello, I think Will left, but I did hear some of the points he was bringing up, and man, I just have a question for y'all. Like, how many times are people going to regurgitate the same BS about black people? Like, don't they get tired of repeating these same points that we've done dismantled time and time and time and time again? You know what, y'all? Sometimes I feel it's really just trolling. That's really what it is. Because we done destroyed these arguments. We've been destroying these arguments for centuries. I want to take it piece by piece. No, one, this myth that black Americans are frivolous with our money. That's a damn lie. We've actually been the most fruitful and been the wisest with our money. We're the group that with nothing, even being illiterate, even with not having a penny in our pocket, built black Wall Streets that had they been allowed to prosper and not been destroyed time and time and time again. And I said Wall Streets because we always think about the one in Oklahoma. There were several other black Wall Streets. There were over 50 of them. You had one in North Carolina. You had one in Florida. You had two in South Carolina. You had one in Mississippi. You had one in Kansas. You had one in Missouri. You had them all over the country. We built them with nothing in our pocket. We built them, a lot of us being illiterate, and we built them while going through state-sanctioned anti-black terrorism every single day. No other immigrant group, no other American group have been able to do what we've done, going through as much oppression as we've been and as we have survived. A lot of white Americans couldn't even stand putting on a damn mask for a week. So you know they want to be able to build a black Wall Street, and had our black Wall Street been allowed to prosper, they would have made New York City look like a one stoplight town. Okay, so that's number one. Two, modern days, all studies into the matter show that black Americans are actually the most frugal spenders. When they've done those universal basic income experiments, they showed that out of all recipients, it was black Americans, and I mean black Americans as in freedmen, descendants of those that were enslaved. We were the ones that spent our money on necessities more than any other group. Other groups actually were far more likely to spend their money on recreational pursuits. We spent our money on things like food, paying bills, and clothing. Now, one part of that is because we lack the necessity so often because of us not getting reparations, because of the brutal history to which only we have been subjected. So, three, black Americans actually save more money and put money aside more than any other group. The issue is we often have the least amount of money to put aside because we've been through more hell in this country than any other group, and yet we're owed more in this country than any other group. Matter of fact, we're the only group that this country owes on which it has yet to pay the debt. So when I hear people like Will speak, I don't even get angry anymore. I get disgusted. I get annoyed. It's like you hear a mosquito, and mosquito is in your ear, and you keep swiping at it, and it goes away, and every damn 2 minutes it comes back, and it goes in your ear, like, okay, go away, and then it comes back again. That's what I'm hearing. It's nothing but pure trolling. 4, this thing about us not being unified. I mean, of course, when we look at the news, and you might see, unfortunately, some of our people, one of them may have shot or killed another, because interpersonal conflict happens in all communities. And with the black community, when you think of all the trauma we have inherited, I don't think we give that enough attention, y'all. We've inherited trauma psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And when you compound that with poverty, bad schools, lack of opportunities, high levels of stress, and then you add in the fact that they flooded our community with drugs, and they took a lot of our strong black male leaders out and left our precious women there to bear the brunt of it, you're bound to have people snapping on each other. However, that is not an indictment on the entire black community, because more than any other community, we are under the highest levels of poverty, and yet less than 1% of us, I didn't say 1%, less than 1% of us will commit a violent crime any given year. But add to that, black American men are 70% of the people who are later found exonerated of crimes of which they were convicted of doing. So not only do we commit very little violent crimes, we are arrested a lot of times for crimes that you can probably well believe we didn't even do. Number 4, people want to talk about being frugal with your money. I don't hear anyone saying anything to white Americans. White Americans have had control over the United States of America for the longest, but they didn't raise the wealth that built this nation. We did that. I'll tell you what white Americans have done, the ones with all the money. They've crashed the American economy time and time and time again. If you want to look at a most recent example, let's not even go back to the Great Recession before Obama took office in the last years of the Bush administration. Let's talk about what happened when COVID-19 hit. When COVID-19 hit, the Trump administration was at first pissed about bailing out industries. Do you know why they were pissed? And I'm not saying I agree with them or disagree with them, but the facts are the facts. They were pissed because they found out that industries like the airline industries ran mainly by white men. They had a surplus in revenue. And what did they do with those surpluses in revenue? They spent them on stock buybacks. They wasted their money. They spent their money unwisely. And yet, everybody wants to come to black Americans and talk about how we spend our money. No one's saying anything to white Americans who done ran our economy into the ground time and time and time again. And yet, when our economy is ran into the ground, who are the people that have to come and take it out? Us. When this country is under attack, who are the people that have to come and help us win these wars? Us. And yet when every other group is under oppression, they run to help them, but which group do they leave out? Us. So I am sick and tired. I have no forgiveness, I have no compassion, I have no sympathy, I have no patience for people like Will and the anti-black nonsense people like him speaks. And that's for the male coons and the female coons. I hate them all the same. And that's all I want to say. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you very much for coming.
That's what we call a masterclass, Will. If you're still listening, take some notes. I hope you had your notepad, brother.
I think.
Well, y'all, I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing? Because now, Will really had that to me. I want to say real quick. If Will wants to talk about people being responsible, why don't he take this to his white friends that I know he has who have a lot of money? Take the talk of being responsible to them, because tell them that the United States of America, when businesses were crashing because of COVID, they came up with the American Rescue Plan to help keep businesses afloat, right? Black Americans have built over 50 black Wall Streets in prosperous black towns. We didn't destroy our businesses. Our businesses are doing fine. And we did it without a dime from the government. The only thing the government was giving us was pure hell. And we still built them. I have seen people go into the ground financially because they put all their life savings into their one business. And when that one business crashes, they've lost everything. They can never get back on their feet. We have had our communities, our businesses, our Wall Streets destroyed, not once, not twice, not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but over 50 times. And then when they couldn't destroy by fire or water, they would get the Federal Housing Authority to put railroads or highways through it. So if Will wants to talk to someone about being responsible, go tell the American government that they have a responsibility to repair the damage that they caused. Black Americans are the most responsible people. We're so damn responsible that even though we have every reason to, we haven't burnt the damn country to the ground yet. But they better stop pushing us, and they better start paying us. Powerful.
There's another masterclass. Brother Marcel, can you tell us?
Let that marinate.
Hey, let that marinate. Hey, Brother Marcel, can you tell us where we can donate to your campaign and or how anybody can provide support for you? Can you tell that to everyone listening?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you. May I put in the Jumbotron?
Yes, sir.
And if there's any South Carolinians in here, especially, they are no South Carolina District 6, Allendale, Hampton, Jasper, Colleton, Orangeburg, Sumter, Richland, and Charleston, Dorchester. If you can vote, June 14th, 2022. But I'll put that in the Jumbotron. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, Congressman. Yes, Congressman. And Congresswoman Shealy, please put yours in there as well. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let me get...
I think Freeway was next.
Okay. Freeway, go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? I'm a dovetail off what Marcel was saying. Man, listen, at this point in time, if you're asking what the Foundation of Black American is, if you're asking what B1 is, if you're asking what any of these things is, nigga, you the opposition at this point in time. You really are. You playing, stop playing. You know the speed of this thing. Get on speed or get ran over. That's really the long and the short of it. And people who come in, you really trying to prop yourself up at this point. What you running for office, or you trying to please your white friends or whatnot? I don't know. But man, just get on point with it. Really, get on point, or just be honest with you, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way. But I'm hearing some feedback, so I'll just fall back for right now.
Judge denies Abrams' bid to seek unlimited contributions. They don't want Stacey, as Judge said, Stacey Abrams, you have a cap on the money you can get from donations. Yeah. Because she would do that. Why? Because they know you can get money and try to funnel it all over there so she could buy all the ads Stacey bought.
Hot mic. They got a hot mic. Mike. Y'all wasn't gonna let that man know?
Hey, moving on. Tim, go ahead, brother. Speak your mind.
Hey, what's up, family? Just wanted to say, I just want to get back to what we originally started out, and when the space opened up, the question was brought up about conservatives. Now, I hope everybody got the lesson on conservatives based on what just happened in the previous space and what we just went through with the time wasting for like that. I've been just counting the time. That brother spoke for almost literally maybe like 25 minutes. And another thing about this is, you can see he had no clue of what it meant to be foundational Black American. So another thing we got to stop doing is stop helping these people out. Like I was listening to a lot of people were helping them out and giving them suggestions and answering his questions for him. He got entirely too much time to actually speak. So I hope we learn a lesson from that. Wanted to say a shout out to Miss Sealy. You said you had to rest because of some hardships you felt you had. Don't feel that way, because you here with the right people. You and Marcel here with the Black grassroots. This is where y'all need to be. Those other people who not here, they the ones having a problem. So Miss Sealy, don't be worried about that. You here with the Black grassroots. But then again, I just want to get back again. When we run into these people that are wasting time, don't help them. You got to treat them just like white supremacists. White supremacists come in acting dumb, talking about racism. You don't answer the questions for them. And I just feel as though that guy got too much time to time waste, and a lot of people were answering questions for him, giving him way too much time to actually do what he was just doing. And I'm gonna end on that. I'll pop back in if I hear anything else interesting pop up later.
And to thank you for that. To piggyback off of that, we have to exercise discipline in allowing the person to land, because when we interrupt every 5 seconds when we hear something we disagree with, that creates an effect that goes back and forth. That's what we hear in too many of these spaces, where it's like 8 people, 8 speakers, and you only hear 3 people talking because they keep talking back and forth. So even if somebody disagrees, allow them to land. You can debunk their points after they have landed, and then we can move on. Otherwise, you're going to have people who have their hands up for hours, people who are in the request queue, and only a few people get to speak.
I agree with that, Afro Elite. But at a time, you know, with everything going on right now, where we know how the way people are now, we know we got people who are in the air in a plane and ain't gonna never land. You know, so we kind of gotta kind of kill it. But I'm gonna stop it right there.
You're right. We're gonna get better on that, because, like you said, when we start bogging down into those arguments, nothing gets accomplished. Because a lot of the brothers and sisters in here are passionate about this topic, or whatever topic we're talking about, and then once someone comes in and they might not be as astute as we are, sometimes it doesn't come off as they're asking questions. It's like they want you to follow their train of thought, and it gets kind of tiring. But like I said, we're gonna be more diligent with that going forward.
Hey kid, I just wanted to pop back in and say this real quick. Even when I don't know which one of y'all it was, when dude said, what's a foundational Black American, y'all should have cut him right then and there. And I'm really gonna stop right here.
Facts. I just want to come in. Facts. Big facts. When he said that already was a red flag. It's like, if you don't know what a foundational Black American is, then that means you are so far separated from the Black community that you just need to sit back and listen. Nothing you say can positively affect change for us. I was going to say that.
Hey, okay. That's a good point. You guys all make good points. Supremacists and supremacist minions, you know, one of their main tactics is to try to stall us out. And I noticed that's what Brother Will was trying to do, stall us out. He knew the answer to every single question that he asked. They don't ask questions because they really want a legitimate answer. They ask questions so they can run us around the block and down the corner. That's why, he said his piece, but at the end of the day, we chopped that down and we let Brother Marcel, Afro, Kid, Tim, all of us, he spent some time tonight listening, and he's got an FBA collision course for the rest of his life.
With the host's permission, before we move on, I think because Brian might have been next, I would like to introduce the concept of, and they do this in real court, a timer, where I personally will set a timer for like 2 minutes as we allow each person to go on uninterrupted. And if they're almost done landing, they can request additional time for maybe another minute. But we'll do 3 minutes at the most, because we're so passionate about this subject. Anybody here, I've seen great speakers here, anybody here can go on for a whole 20 minutes talking about reparations, but that would kind of be a little counterproductive. So with the host's permission, I think a 2-minute timer with the extension of maybe 3 minutes is more than enough time for somebody to make their point.
Great idea, Afro. I support that 100%. B1, People's Court, order in the court.
Hey, you guys could drop me down, because I was going to say something from the other space to Will, but you guys have already said it, so just go ahead and drop me down.
All right, that's fine. Sister Tamara, I seen you had your hand up. I wanted to see if you had anything else you wanted to contribute.
Yeah, I was just echoing the sentiments of that brother. Like, sometimes I think we give them a lot of grace, and trying to meet them where they are in their thinking. But I don't know, I think a lot of people just want to be stuck. They stay stuck, and they really are a distraction. So I was agreeing with that brother, and I'll yield the mic.
Yes, ma'am. All right, let's keep the conversation going. Byron, you're up.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll just make this quick. I don't want to take up too much time. What I just want to say real quick, first of all, I'm proud of what y'all doing. You're doing a real good thing, and if whether you realize it or not, you young brothers are doing God's work. I just want to say real quick that a lot of these brothers that come over to this space, they come over here under deceptive pretenses. What I mean is, they have a lot of these guys, like I suspect with Will, and the whole pretense is to pander to a wide audience and take these talking points that we hear and show, or financially beneficial to have them a large following from white conservatives to say, hey, look, I'm speaking against these rabble rousers, and to sit there and stall out the talking points. They're not over here. I just want you brothers and sisters in here to understand, they're not over here for agreement. They're over here to stall out, get what they did. He really accomplished what he wanted to do, as far as get everybody up here, upset. Hey, man, you're messing up with our talking points. But he accomplished what he wanted to do, because really it's all about, benefiting and building up his podcast and his audience, And I just want to close out real quick and saying, the reason why I'm for reparations, because I'm 52. I don't know how much time I have left on earth, but I'm thinking about the younger generation, the generation that's behind me, and they deserve to have these communities rebuilt. The older generation like myself, we should have handled business a long time ago, but we didn't. But now you guys are leading the charge, and I want to tell you I'm proud of y'all and be one, and I'll end at that.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. We're trying. It's a tough road, but we got the stamina for it, and there's a lot of rage behind our words. So we're gonna try. We're gonna try for y'all.
And 51 is not old.
Gotta make sure the ancestors smile.
He said he's 51. That's not old, brother. Please don't say that. I'm 50. I'll be 50 this year. So that's not old.
I thought women don't tell their ages.
I tell mine.
Last. All right. Yeah. All right.
Okay, I think don't hand up I see is Nas, and then MP1. He hasn't spoken yet, and neither has Robert hasn't spoken yet either. Yes, Robert, can you mute your mic? Okay, thank you, brother. Nas, you can go ahead, brother.
Hey, man, thank y'all. I was in here early, and then I kind of dipped out. I mean, that one guy, he was just sucking my soul energy. It's just like, I think that because we're establishing such a strong litmus test, when these people come in around us, they can't last 2 seconds, really, if we want to shut them down. I mean, when he started talking about that literacy, I said, oh, Lord. You know what I mean? But y'all checked him. Y'all handled it well. And I wanted to say this earlier. Right now, as y'all all know, we're doing the push, of course, nationally, but also in California. And you know that all these organizations are trying to push local initiatives around the country. And I think that all of us should just be aware that this is going on. And if it's happening in your area, get the videos, get the people's names, and expose these people. I listened to the AB 3121 thing today for a little bit. I mean, I want to listen to it as much as I can, but sometimes, y'all, it just sucks my soul when they just be wasting time. But the part I did catch was the communication firm part. Y'all remember they had those two communication, well, I didn't know it was two, but they had two communication firms. And once we went on Lineage, they called a secret meeting. And then that got leaked. And then we blew up the spot. The hour-long meeting turned into 10 minutes. I didn't join the meeting, but that's what they told me. And literally, one of those people, one of those groups, they bowed out. And they were naming the two people. I think one was called One was named Young, and I can't remember the other one. I got it written down. But I looked them up. And when you look at their communication pages, man, it's like super Democrat agenda, but not a black agenda. I mean, they had everybody else. And, basically they're communication firms for everybody. And they named their groups, Hispanic, LGBT, Asian, trans. I mean, just everybody. And then I thought to myself, communication is very important when we're trying to have our initiatives, especially when that money starts coming. Because, a bad public statement could just derail something. And also, it's a lot of money. So I just want to say that we need to watch what's going on in all these little local initiatives. Even though local is not the goal for reparations, we need to watch them. And I think anybody who can establish their own little communication company or their own little nonprofit that can help with anything in our struggle, establish it. And that way the money can go to y'all, and we trust y'all and not these puppets that are put into place by different parties that don't benefit us. That's all I wanted to say. I hope I didn't take too much time.
No problem. But I do want